Last but not least, very important topic we're going to discuss, and I'm more than happy that I have, let's say, on stage a full house. Cybersecurity and AI-driven transformation. Oh my Lord, we have something to discuss, I guess, right? But you're not here listening to me. You're here to listen to these senior experts. And boa tarde. Yeah, you, Carlos. Boa tarde. And so I'll give them a quick minute to introduce themselves. Not that they need introduction, but it's just nice and respectful to know exactly who's sitting here on stage, and they can say something about their company and maybe something they want to share something with us. So, Raniel. So thank you again. So I'll give the word to Ines, of course, first, and it's over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Inês. I am a lawyer in a Portuguese-based law firm, and I work in... Oh, no. Okay. So I work in ICT, mainly on data, cybersecurity, and technology. So cybersecurity and AI solutions is my, I don't know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner nowadays. So I'm looking forward to discussing all these matters with you today.
Okay, fantastic. As long as it's not a divorce, because I cannot stand another one. Why are you laughing? Guys, you should be... Anyway, Rakesh, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Rakesh Kukreja. I'm an engineer. Oh, it's stable. And I'm the managing director for ISAT Africa group of companies. We are more in connectivity and telecom solutions in Africa.
Thank you so much and welcome. Mo?
So I'm Mohamed Ibrahim from Interfiber, basically a network engineer and satellite communication engineer. And that's how it all started.
Okay,
serving Africa.
How it all started. Elder?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Elder Jus, Vice President of the OAED. I'm a Portuguese Navy officer, Navy captain from the Portuguese Armed Forces. I was the chief of the Cyber Defense Center of the Portuguese Armed Forces for 3 years, director of the Navy Communications Center and Data, and also the former Military University Institute director for the Navy.
And next time you're going to tell us again that you're also a cook or what?
Of course. I cook everything. Thank you.
But thank you and welcome and good having you here. Mate?
Wow, hard to follow that one up. My name's Mark. I'm a product guy primarily. Do a lot of work around SDM platforms and building in the past IN platforms. Work for a company called Epsilon. We're owned by KT, so we do have a domestic market. It's rather unusual market and not the easiest place to work sometimes. And obviously Epsilon is the international kind of network for KT.
But you should also say that you're in charge of strategy.
Yeah, strategy and business development, but not sales, but looking for new things. So for me, it's out looking for new partners, new geographies, new technologies, just new ideas. I love going on panels, running panels.
Yeah, we know.
Just trying to get ideas, really. These forums are brilliant for that, and some of the exhibitions too.
Thank you. Good having you all. Yeah, sure, Mo. Just bump in.
Now it's very famous to watch all this Korean TV drama. So they need a network to, push KT outside.
And you know what? In Korea...
You can pay for that with KT.
Yeah, I was about to say. But you know what? Even, and I'm not into this, but I have a couple of girls, daughters. Yeah, so sweet. Only 3. And they love daddy. Strange, eh? No, but they are into, Korean cosmetics. And you have all these, we know all these, what is it, 10, 20 years ago, we had all these boy bands, Boys to Men or whatever. K-pop, you know this. Horrible.
The,
Horrible. Daddy, did you look at this? No. Yeah, you know.
some of the fastest traffic growth for Epsilon is bringing that traffic in and out of South Korea. It's insane.
You love it.
Well, it's good for us. But
Especially.
it's, KT does have a paid peering policy, so FYI.
FYI. All right, let's bump in, guys. But no, hold on. Mo, did you have your coffee today already?
Yeah, I did. And actually,
And I'm actually he just told me, Eric, you're promoting me the whole day. Keep on telling about the coffee. You know, do it. I said, why? Now you tell me why.
so we have a new company that we're building. It's called Coffee, COFI. So it's co-work, coffee, fiber, and Wi-Fi. So we will be doing it in Africa because we have excess of bandwidth and we want to give, and we love coffee. So coffee will be as a service for free.
We love this, right? Fantastic initiative, Mo. Well done. Okay, now let's bump in, right? I mean, yeah. So Ines, just I'm going to start with you. Is that okay?
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Where do we stand on, let's say, AI, cybersecurity? I mean, especially on the AI, people are overwhelmed. They really, what's going on? You know, Chat GPT, everybody knows this, you know, but there's much more, right? There's much more. And can you give us an overview what we are dealing with, especially in the ICT, in our ICT sector?
Well,
What should we be aware of?
yeah, a lot,
Mhm.
a lot. But first, good news. So as ICT sector is a tech-driven industry, so this is a sector that is they used to integrate technologies in everyday business, in every operation. So we see many use cases of AI in ICT sector, but not only in ICT, but all over sector. So AI is here to stay. Of course, this brings attention from the legislator and the regulators. So we have in Europe a set of new rules coming. Actually, they are already here, the AI Act, and also in what concerns cybersecurity, several initiatives aiming to bring confidence to the public and to the entities that are using these kind of technologies, and not only from a compliance perspective to tick in the box all the steps that they need to comply with, but to have this proactive approach towards innovation and to protect privacy, data, information that they own. So we see all these innovation, but now we need to focus on sustainable innovation, legal innovation with compliance worries and challenges involved.
Okay. Mo? Except the coffee, yeah?
So normally everyone talks about ChatGPT, but it's the tip of the iceberg. You cannot imagine what we can do today with AI. Like AI is not just ChatGPT. ChatGPT is really nothing. Like today, we are feeling it, like with the outcome of AI. Many people don't know what is happening in the background. They just see, for example, that the SEPA transfer, for example, now in the EU is instantaneous, and it's because of AI. Before it needed human interaction and verification. Now it's AI. Military now is AI. The financial everything is AI, and even networks now are driven with AI. So it is scary in one way, but today, you know, it's helping to make things simpler. But that's the problem: is when things are simple, it's where the problems become. And our reliance today on things like ChatGPT is like our reliance on calculators. We don't do anything mental anymore. We depend on a tool. And that's a problem.
You know where it started? When we were young, we used to know every telephone number in our head, right? Yeah, see? The younger people say, yeah. And nowadays, what was the number? Let's see it. So just a little link. Mark, what is your take on AI?
I always look at it practically from how can AI improve our business and the customer experience. And is there anyone from Nokia here?
He left the building.
Good. So wait,
Let me check. Let me check. Javier?
just in
No.
case.
No, he left. Go on.
So we're a developer as well. So we have development teams build our own stuff, but usually we just try and build what doesn't exist. That's like our SDM platform, it's stuff like that. So I'm looking at AI as how can it improve the efficiency of our business, the customer experience, et cetera. And there's nothing in the box right now that really is applicable to easy deployment for the type of network that we have. And so, you know, we've had Nokia, we're a Nokia house as well as Juniper come in, and their presentation on AI was very disappointing. Sorry, Nokia. Very focused on things like reporting and stuff like that, which is really important. But for us, what we're trying to deploy across our network is how to, and Mo's already kind of mentioned it really, how to manage our network efficiently for both the unexpected and then the predicted. So once it happens, it learns and it does something else. So we're not talking about basic MPLS anymore. We are talking about being able to educate that layer to control our network based on many things, even the weather, as an example. The time of year, expectation of a cable cut, what happens now? We feed that into a bank so that a bank can make a decision either manually to go, yes, I really like what you're going to do here because of that incident, or allow the bank to then teach our network to do what it wants in a particular incident and then continually learn. That stuff to us, at least right now, is not available, but that has to be where it's at. And then we can start to present that logic out to our customers for them to craft their own subset of LLM/AI type control, which just takes SDN orchestration and multiplies its power by 1,000. It will be really good. And then we'll start to integrate with other service providers so that we can start to share. Now we get into security issues. So within the regulatory environments that we operate, to start to share information around bad actor attacks and penetration. The thing is, sorry, I'll take a long time, but in our home market, South Korea, unfortunately for SK Broadband, they were hacked. It's very famous, certainly there. Absolute disaster for SK Broadband, which is the #1 mobile operator. Basically, they have to replace every single SIM card of their entire footprint physically. So they're trying to get people to take an eSIM, but absolute disaster. But they kind of could see that. And theoretically, what you're talking about now is being able to share attack information and powered by AI to help us defend ourselves against bad actors and hackers and stuff like that. So I'm disappointed at the moment that our network vendors are not as advanced as people like us are thinking and wanting and telling them. They're too slow. So I'm so excited about this area, and forget about customer service and chat windows on self-help portals and that. That's really awesome, and that's there. But we can change the way that our network behaves, the pricing of that network, the efficiency of that network, and how we interact with each other. I mean, just think about it. If I've got an NNI with these guys and my network just sees that I'm creating a traffic pattern that's now starting to breach the 100 gig or 400 gig interface, whatever it is, just spin it up. We have a smart contract. We change the SLA. All that happens. That's efficiency. That's a game changer. So I'm really excited about that, but I'm really disappointed that at the vendor level, at least, they are way behind other industry. The ICT industry is killing this stuff, but our traditional vendor community is not.
Okay. Elder,
Thank you.
what's your take on AI?
On AI, I follow Mohamed when he says that ChatGPT is just a small piece of the AI. And if you look to the battlefield, I believe, and what's happening in Ukraine shows that the AI is changing the battlefield. Not in the Navy, not only in the Navy, but in the armed, in the joint forces. So the Army, the Air Force, the Navy. So everything will change, or not everything, but the way we conduct the war, it will be different with the AI. We can see the way that Ukraine has been using the drones, and this war is considered. Ukraine is now actually considered a laboratory for AI.
Mm.
So we have private companies that are there supporting Ukraine. And of course, Russia has also some support, also using AI. So we have AI on both sides. But from the Ukrainian side, we have private companies that bet on AI and they are supporting, and it's considered a laboratory. This war is considered a laboratory for AI.
Unfortunately, they came in that
Unfortunately.
situation.
And,
right?
and we can say that there is a market for it. It's not my words. It's a words from, I don't remember his name, but it's someone that is really important on these matters of AI. And he says that there's a market on AI in this war. So we can say that, so if this war won't stop, the AI will continue, but it's really bad from my point of view. Okay, because all the wars have innovation, have transformation, and in the technological side, we can see some steps ahead when we have wars. But wars have destruction, have people dying, so it's not very good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we tipped already a little bit on, let's say, the more delicate, frightening things of AI, right? Isn't AI just a knife? I mean, okay, hold on. A little bit of philosophy here, right? If you don't mind. We all had lunch today, right? You saw on the, let's say, one of the starters was what they call in Italy, caprese. You know, so the mozzarella, you know, which you need to cut, the tomato you need to cut, and a little bit of basilico. And then we put some oil over it, right? Okay. You need the knife to cut that, right? But you can use the knife also for other things, right? I rather use it, and I hope they're going to use this knife only for cutting my caprese, for my mozzarella, you know, and not for the other things. Sabe? That's, I think it's more important. Anyway, so on the cybersecurity, we tipped already on it a little bit, but I want to go a bit more in deep because it's among us, and we really need to, you know, get it right, because it's difficult, and we're always minimum 2 steps behind. Ines, what do you say? Get in there.
Yes, well, in cybersecurity, I always say we are 2 steps or several steps behind an hacker. So I think AI here will play an important role on cybersecurity. Of course, there is always the dark side of it, but every technology, as you were saying, isn't this a knife? Of course, every technology can be used for the dark side of it or the bright side of it. And I'm not optimistic, so I always look at the bright side.
The glass is half full.
Yeah, but
Caipirinha glass, for later. Huh?
yeah. But here, in what concerns cybersecurity, I think, and actually also in ICT sector, so we can use AI-driven solutions and technology to real-time detection of threats, to implement, to detect what we need to implement, to taking in consideration the threats, the behavior of the employees and the behavior of the network. So I think AI will be a very powerful tool in what concerns cybersecurity, and nowadays cybersecurity is a hot topic and a concern, of course, in every sector. And as I said, I think cybersecurity here will be really a game changer in cybersecurity.
Okay, Rakesh?
I'll take you back a little bit about some of the remarks on AI side. I think AI is just not the knife. It is also decision making on the knife that how to use it. So knife,
Thank you. You got it.
yeah, knife is a good tool. But then if someone starts making decision how to use the knife is the risky part of AI. And I also agree with some panelists that we should look at the positive side of it. And we feel, I come from telecom, so I will say more about telecom, that how we are trying to use AI. I'll give you a small example that when we build a telecom site in rural area, there is no generator, there's no main grid, we put the solar. We need an engineer to draft a design, the solar structure, that how much solar panels, what were the losses and rains coming during the year, and how much battery backup time, what time we should start the generator and others, and it's a full-time job. Similarly, there's a monitoring guy and there's a maintenance guy. These three guys work in parallel, and we're still not able to achieve 99.9%.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. And now this AI designs the system. We only have to implement it, being a human. It monitors my system, and it also brings the changes as and when required. So imagine that how intelligently can be done as a tool, AI, that can help us in many, many operating areas of ours. Cybersecurity is again a concept that at what level and how much level you like to be secure, and secure against whom. And what is the information, and how what's the value of the information that you like to secure. So, and I also agree that AI is much ahead of our own intelligence that we should be struggling against, because AI can give very high tools to go against the security that we as human will be running to safeguard it. So AI only is the tool to use for security as well.
All right. How can it protect our, let's talk about challenges. How can it protect our cables? How will it support?
We can't. That's
And why not?
because first it's too deep, and that it's too big to be protected. It's like countries that have very large border cannot.
So
protect
AI has limitation?
everything have limitation. Everything. AI is power. You shut down energy, it shut down. So everything have a limitation. Okay, nothing is perfect. Everything is balanced. The problem with submarine cable is that if you cannot prevent how to cut it, okay, just make more alternative routes.
Mm.
We know it for a fact because we built our first fiber network was in Kinshasa, and we were vandal. They used to cut our cables. So while we're fixing the cable, they will cut our cable somewhere else. So we made it in such a mesh way that the network supports 7 strategic.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, more or less.
Coming back to the cooking again.
Actually, we call it spaghetti alla fibra.
Appunto!
Al dente. So our network supports 7 strategic cuts, not only 7 cuts, but 7 strategic cuts, where we know where to cut in order to bring it down. And because of it, the people that used to cut our cable are not cutting anymore our cable, because now they see that it doesn't hurt us anymore. So they hurt us in a different way. So the security for submarine cable is just have more cables. In Africa, we have, like in some countries, like Congo, have 1 cable. Congo Brazzaville, 1 cable. So we have a cable between Brazzaville and Kinshasa for redundancy because of that. And then there is a cable going to Angola. So the redundancy for submarine cable should be land, because it's harder. Okay, there is more problem on land, but it's harder to cut. But as it was mentioned before, there is cable all over Africa. Afrix said it today in the morning, Luis. And there isn't cable inside Africa. So we will cut already latency by half in between countries, and it will create redundancy. And again, it's all about redundancy. Resilience is redundancy. So it's like when you have 1 car and the car breaks, you need to. So if you have 10 cars, you need to have 9 broken cars in order to be, not able to take a car.
Mark?
Yeah, and to add to that, in terms of AI and protection of our assets, so to speak, you can start to utilize AI to look for predictive analytics. So whether that is looking at certain ship behavior, whether that's looking at certain ground movements or whatever, you can start to capture that data and to get that data to work for you in terms of prediction. So it's like CCTV. It's probably not going to stop the incident, but what you might be able to do is be ready for it. And then if you have an architecture that's essentially already predicted that, you've built the architecture around that prediction that it's going to happen, then you're in a lot better shape than maybe we are now or have been in the recent past. So I think there's real value there. And I think there are technology companies out there starting to build that type of solution. Just as a small example, pen testing. Now there are AI-based pen testing companies that we use to protect our own network, which is basically constantly trying to hack into our network. If it's succeeding, obviously it tells us, but then it's looking for the same patterns that allowed it to succeed in the first place in other areas of the network. So it's a small example of how AI can help protect our network and our assets.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for taking away two of my questions. Thank you. I'm really happy with it. Unbelievable, huh, this guy. I will never share those questions again with the panelists because they just kill it. Elde.
Yeah. So I follow Mark and Mohammed regarding the prediction.
I don't.
Yes. But I would also add intelligence, okay? Because I think intelligence with prediction is very important to have situational awareness. And in this case, we have governmental agencies with private companies sharing this kind of information is very useful for both sides. And sometimes we forget it. Sometimes by side, we forget it. So we have this kind of cooperation between inside our countries, inside Europe, Africa. So between companies from several countries and also from the governmental agencies of these countries, I think it would be very important share intelligence, because with intelligence you can be aware what can be happen, and then you can predict. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're getting on the edge there. Because let me take another example. We have 27 states in the EU, right? But we have 25 different definitions of resilient, right? So also with the intelligent data you want to share, I think, Ines, you might have 1 or 2 points to mention, even though that we understand it. But we should watch it a little bit. What do you say? Sorry for...
It's okay, it's okay.
No. I understand that point. I think sharing information and intelligence in cybersecurity is quite powerful, of course, because, and we see several mechanisms of cooperation that we have in place. Of course, it's already there. But it's usually, and actually from my experience, we see this type of cooperation between member states, governments, and not between private companies. Because if you are sharing some information regarding a threat or an issue that you have, or an incident that you have suffered, you are also exposing your company. So you have that limitation in practice to share this information. I'm going just to give you an example of a specific sector. We have the financial sector. Now we have a new regulation in place, DORA regulation, Digital Operational Resilient Act in Europe. And one of the set of rules, it was supposed to be mandatory, but it's not. But it was supposed to create this obligation to share threats and information regarding incidents. But during the preparation of the regulation, there were so many voices against this kind of sharing of information that now, and the final version is, entities are encouraged to share that kind of information. So
Legal can play around with words,
For-
guys. Unbelievable. You know, they can turn it into, yeah, but this is what is in the, let's say, in the mind of the sentence of
of course, but it's different. You are not obliged, you are encouraged.
Yep.
So you cannot be,
but not committed.
yeah.
You see, there's always a, you know, in Italy, they always say, and Luciano helped me with this one because he's from Calabria. Ma there's always un'uscita, no? There's always a way out, right? Right? That's it. Okay.
There, just a
Yes,
couple,
please, Mark.
a couple of points. So I'm pretty old. I started way back in
A couple of
voice
months.
days. I think the voice industry, for a while at least, tackled the sharing of fraud data very well.
Yes.
And so I think we can take a leaf out of the voice industry.
Took them also a while, eh?
It took them a while, yes, but they do a pretty reasonable job considering the type of exposure that they have. And I'm looking at, I'm involved with MEF, if anyone's familiar with MEF. And MEF, after it defined Ethernet standards, it's kind of clawing around looking for other standards to define, and SD-WAN and stuff. I think they're going in the wrong direction. I think they should be looking at the standardization of information that's important to be exchanged, and whether that's SLA templates, but in this case, how do we start to manage the interoperability of cybersecurity information between ourselves, particularly between our partners? If we got an NNI and we're exchanging traffic and that traffic is enabling a bad actor, we're both at fault. And so maybe we should be working together to make sure that if I identify something, I'm sharing that information with you in a regulatory way.
Duh.
So, yeah, but I think that's a real opportunity for MEF or somebody else, TM Forum, who IEEE, I don't know, but somebody. And as far as I can tell right now, I don't know that anyone is working on that kind of standardization of information. And I know that governments would love us to do it. You know, in the UK and in other areas now, it's mandatory to report, you know, an incident. And TalkTalk, very famous network now under Neos brand, I think, in the UK. But, you know, they were hacked, and I mean, that destroyed their company, basically. That it doesn't exist as TalkTalk anymore. So it's in your best interest to share that kind of information, in my opinion.
Just to add something, we have also this obligation to notify incidents to the authorities and to the public when it is mandatory. But what I was saying is to share in those cases where you are not obliged to notify, to share information regarding threats. Or imagine you don't even have an incident to report, but you have other type of information that it would be useful to share. And that's the idea of the legislator, is to create this environment to enable companies and private and public sector to share that kind of information. That's the objective.
By the way, just as a side note, TalkTalk made good music for the old people. Such a shame, you know, that they're not there anymore, right? Just to combine a little bit the mute. There you go. There you go. Now, we also talked over the last couple of days about, you know, energy is you know, a real point, is really a thingy. Now, we all know AI is, you know, doing this with energy, but, you know, as well cybersecurity in a certain way. But okay, we can, you know, we can handle that. But AI is, of course, you know, we haven't seen anything yet. How much energy that will need, right? But how can AI, let's say, help a little bit, you know, on the sustainability, on our infrastructures, in our data centers? On how can they help? Anybody who wants to get in there? It's not an easy one. You're brave.
So actually, there is a paradox in that. You can ask AI to find a solution.
But when the power is off, how do I do this? You just mentioned this.
So there is two-part reply on that. first, if you ask ChatGPT how much power they use, they will say that for ChatGPT 3, the training model is the equivalent of 552 tons of CO2. So that's running one car for 1 million miles. So that's not much. Now, they don't disclose for the newer model, which is much more. Now, I think that AI, and especially that we're going more and more green, they will have stations or power stations just for AI. We will start having AI data centers that have that are next to maybe nuclear plants that will just serve them, not others. And I think that's the right way to do it. Now, for resiliency, I think Europe forgot that problems can exist. So lately, when electricity went down, everyone that never saw electricity going out panicked. But in Africa, it's a norm, it's a standard. It's a standard.
Every day you do it there, right?
Every day. Yet, you wouldn't believe it. In Congo, electricity can go for 20, 30, 40 hours, and we have solutions. And we have equipment that are up since more than 1,300 days. How we do that? We need to, be resilient. And in some country, I'm originally from Lebanon, and in Lebanon, till today, 2025, electricity doesn't come more than 24 hours a day. Like in some places, it's 12 hours. The rest, you buy it from a parallel network. So they became resilient. But here in Europe, they still don't know that because it's good times. They always say that good times create weak men. We are in the good times, and we need to maybe have some hard time to refine, our way to become more resilient, like we were before. So I think, as Renil said it before, at a certain point, we will start from Africa showing Europe how to, become resilient.
Exactly. The guys are here, so they can show us. Mark.
It's interesting as well because the EU is investing quite heavily in quantum compute and quantum networking from our perspective, with the hope, obviously, that the efficiency of the compute will help us carry or deal with the load. But we were at the GPF event a month ago or something, and we had one of the AMSEC CTO is from the Quantum Networking Association and did a presentation. It's real slow, so that ain't going to help us very quickly. So, yeah, we kind of have to deal with it in our own fashion right now from a technology perspective that we have right now. But in the future, we might get some help in terms of that power efficiency from a networking and from basically a processing and GPU kind of factor. But it's a bit of a way off yet.
Let me put it, okay, let me go one step further. I want to a little bit of contrast at the end of this panel session, just to have a bit of fun. Let's put the green aspect to it, because it's, pulling how are we going to deal, we will find a way to deal with it, right? And we will have enough power for the AI, right? We'll make it happen anyway. But especially, for instance, in Africa, as we discussed previously, there's a lot of diesel in the caterpillars, and in the generators, there's a lot of diesel in there. So, but my question is then, how can AI help, although it is, pulling so much energy, pulling so much, power, which it uses, which is not normally the greenest part, right? But how can it help the sustainability? Bit of a contradictory, but, how can it, Rakesh, maybe you can, what are your thoughts? I'm not saying that I have the answer. Eh? It's a real question.
Well, it's in two folds. I think Matt mentioned it's not only the electrical energy, it is also the processing power which goes hand in hand. And both of these have to be worked out. So while we are trying to see how much electrical energy can support the processing power, I think there's one way that if AI can be given distributed way of doing it, starting from the edge as well as to the devices. So the dependency on a single point for processing and the power will start reducing. And it purely depends how fast we can build low latency networks so that distributed processing can be done rather than doing it at a central location.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I
Mark?
think AI can help in terms of overlay for managing the efficiency of your power usage, and not just. I mean, if I use an example from my home, the UK power company that we use now has basically low load bearing periods now, where if you want to charge anything, your car or anything, that's a really good time to do it. It's efficient for you because
3 o'clock at
it's
night.
got-
Oh, yeah, yeah. Good.
yeah, it's amazing actually. Obviously, weekends and stuff like that, but there are periods in the daytime. And the thing is, we're a co-location company as well, so how could you use intelligence to help you, turn things down, off? Racks doesn't need to be cooled or heated or whatever it is, right? But run that across our entire global footprint. So now I'm kind of managing electricity and power more efficiently, holistically. And KT in Korea has lots and lots of data centers, as does Equinix and whatever, and like being able to share available power that is not being wasted but could be used better. And yeah, it's just loads that you can do like that. It's really exciting, and we don't have that right now, by the way, but you could see the application that AI could do just in terms of efficiency, because the more efficient use we generate out of power, the less power we have to produce, right? So
Oh, sure. All right. No?
Another thing is that one of the biggest problems today with energy is storing energy, is the batteries. And there is a solution for that. And it can save Earth, but I think many countries need to work together on that. And that's the other problem that Renil talked about. It's geopolitics. There is a project in Singapore to take electricity from Australia. So the solar panel are in Australia and the cable goes to Singapore. It is a solution, and you can have, if you have like a grid in like corner of the Earth, you can have solar all the time. And you don't need to store it, and you can transport it on the cables. The problem is geopolitical. Every country will need to have the cable that goes through it. And at that moment, you won't need to store the energy because the energy will be always live. So solutions are there. The problem is that how humans can work together and make it possible.
Don't talk to me about humans because, Anyway, interesting round, guys. Interesting round, and thank you for your insights. We'll come to a closing because I know that Rakesh has a flight to catch, and and you have a caipirinha to catch. Yeah. Or mojito, also good, right? Whatever, or beer. Anyway, closing round. Mark, close with you. Any message you want to broadcast, in the Pleasure Dome here and beyond?
I think that the exciting part is that there's a lot we can do. I think the exciting part as well is these forums should start to evolve into discussion panels collectively, that we all start to talk about how we solve some of these problems and challenges together. I think AI is really exciting. Mo's already told me that he's got some ideas that maybe improve the experiences I've had. So we're going to have a chat in a minute. But I'm really calling out for vendors to do more and to work together as well. But for us, it's really exciting. We're looking for solutions to deploy those. So it's going to be a really evolutionary and exciting time for us as we evolve how we manage and grow our network and interwork with our partners. So AI is brilliant. I'm working on a MEF project right now. I didn't realize that actually teaching AI is kind of challenging, being the student and the teacher and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just going through a project right now where we teaching AI, the MEF AI, to basically understand and manage interoperability from an SLA perspective. So having smart contracts, basically having automation of the SLA levels and service credits and stuff like that. Some people are well into it. Other people, I don't want to have to pay out service credits if no one claims it. But ultimately in 100 years, that's what you'll be doing. So yeah, it's really exciting, but it's also hard work.
Okay, thanks. Mo?
So I will answer to one of the questions that we received before that is not said. It's how do we use AI in our network? So we developed actually our own AI solution for route learning. So it's not machine learning, it's route learning. So we have actually our AS number is maybe the lowest AS path in the world. We have an average of 3, so it's lowest than our providers. And it's because our AI chooses the best path. And it allows me to be here with you today because the AI is doing my job.
You see, those are one of the new business models, by the way.
It is. So yeah, and there is a lot of very nice solution coming from not competitors, because we don't believe that we are competitors. We complement ourselves with the others. But there are some brands that are making some very, very good solution. But of course, you need to pay for it. And when we consider ourselves a small structure, so we need to develop it in-house and maybe one day sell it to a big house. And Mark said here that he's old. I'm very young, but I have a lot of white hair.
So you have something in common, but I didn't say this. I did. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
So yeah, basically, it's there is a lot of solution, and one thing that made the world better is open source. And open source is made the world better because it's human collaboration.
Yeah, but then she has even more work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Eller?
To conclude, although we are here in cybersecurity and AI, there is one word for me that is really important. It is trust. Trust among the people that are dealing with cybersecurity or AI. It's important to have trust.
Yeah, but we come from the old school. We've been in the military.
Yes.
We learned trust. We got beaten trust.
We in the
It's
same
old
books.
school.
In the same books.
No, it's old school.
It's old school, but it's actually.
I hope so.
I hope
I
so.
really hope
but
so.
I believe the trust between the people and all the entities that are sharing something, it's really important. It's paramount.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Trust you on that one.
Thanks.
Rakesh?
Well, AI is not a buzzword anymore. It is a reality which we all should understand. The best thing is to adopt AI as much as possible, which means we have to make sure while AI is helping us in our life, we should not give extra authority to AI that it starts changing our lifestyle, and then we don't know whom should we hold responsible for. Which means while the trust and other issues can always come in, which means we should also have a lot of policies and acts that also help us to work together. And only this way you can fill the gaps of the skills, because if we are not able to manage the skill set as we go along, work together, share the data, it'll be very difficult for us to use the technology for humankind. Rather, it starts telling humans what to do.
Good. Well said. Famous last words for you, Ines.
Okay, I would say from a legal point of view, I'm not going to be boring, I promise, that we should see these all legal requirements and regulatory requirements from a strategic point of view, from a strategic approach.
Not from a boring point of view.
Not from a
Okay.
boring point of view. So we should integrate legal by design and cybersecurity by design from the start. Otherwise, we will implement solutions, we will implement projects, and then we will have legal constraints. So we should have this holistic approach, strategic approach of the legal requirements. That would be my advice.
Did you hear the lady, guys? That's how it's gonna be, guys. Thank you so much. All right. First of all, I would like to thank you dearly, and I embrace you all. Thank you for staying so long, over 2 days, 9 sessions. Thank you so much to you, audience. Thank you, friends, partners. Thank you, panelists. Even in the back over there, Teresa, thank you so much for even stick with us here. I would like to thank the lady all in the back who makes it happen again the second day in a row without any error whatsoever. So give her a big applause, and of course that was for you. And of course for Aurelia and my and our teams in here, but also back at the Care Community headquarters in Berlin. We did it for you, and again, I hope you enjoyed it. And you look a little bit different if you see a caprese now salad. You look at it a bit with AI eyes nowadays. Have your coffees, have your caipirinhas, talk to each other. Also old school, without the phone on the table. No, keep it away, you know. That's what parents nowadays tell their kids. No, you put it even away from the table. Only for this hour, have peace in the house for dinner. So anyway, guys, thank you for your considerations. Thank you for your valuable insights. And I hope that we with the Care Community could bring you some a little bit of extras and knowledge, or something you can take with you home and use in your daily life and work, because work is only part of life and not the other way around. So think about it, have fun. Ciao for now, and from the SIS 2025, let's go to SIS 2026. See you next year. Ciao for now. Big kiss.